We are just minutes away from tonight's Mega Millions lottery drawing. The jackpot is now up to $521 million. That makes it the fourth largest Mega Millions jackpot in history. Robert Boyd found out plenty of people are willing to try their luck.
Well, I just finished filling out my Mega Millions jackpot numbers. Now here at the Raceway gas station, Virginia Beach, we spoke with a lot of people today who say they never play the lottery. However, when the jackpot gets to $521 million, well, that's just an itch they have to scratch, and that goes for me as well. I just got to take a chance at it. So here you go. One ticket, please.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. On Friday, Mega Millions tickets were selling at 10 times the rate of a normal day, according to Raceway gas station on Virginia Beach Boulevard.
One Mega Million winning ticket, please.
One winning ticket. I got it.
Are these the winning numbers? Read them off.
I hope so. 46, 55, 58, 60, 67, and 1.
Winning numbers right there?
Winning number, hopefully. Wish me luck, everybody.
Many of these customers were simply getting gas. But when they saw the jackpot was more than $500 million, they couldn't resist buying a $2 ticket. Then there are those diehards who play every single day, waiting for their turn.
I'm just hoping that this will be the one that changed my life.
But others say, be careful what you wish for.
I don't know exactly how I'd be able to handle all that money. And I don't know if I'd be the same person afterwards, but I'm gonna give it a try anyway.
Hampton Roads has been on a hot streak. 5 people have already won more than $5 million combined through the Virginia lottery this month. So who's next?
If these numbers come out correct, y'all gonna know. So
we're gonna hear you screaming?
More than that. More than that. I might bust out and cry. You never know.
And what would you do if you actually won?
I want to buy a new home.
I'm a help to my community and a lot of poor people.
Thank you very much.
You have a good luck.
Now, the odds of actually winning the lottery, about 1 in 14 million. But you know what? It's going to happen at some time. And if it happens to me, well, Hampton Roads, the drinks are on me. In Virginia Beach, Robert Boyd, 13 News Now.
13 News Now is your lottery station. We'll bring you the Mega Millions drawing coming up in just a few minutes, so stay with us. That nice springtime weather we had seems to have gone on vacation for the holiday weekend. We had a cloudy and rainy day in parts today, and tonight we're going to feel a cool down. So, Jeff, what's the latest?
Well, we're already noticing a change across the area, and it came associated with a cold front. That front earlier, there it is, that front brought a couple of showers. Of course, earlier today we had some showers out well ahead of the front, then a break. Then we saw this next batch again start sliding through, quickly died out during the evening hours. And now temperatures have been falling quickly from the 70s earlier down to the 60s this evening and now into the 50s. And with that northerly wind, it feels like the 40s. So where do we go from here? Well, it is a chilly forecast to begin your weekend. And even to end really Saturday, it's not going to warm up a whole lot. We're going to fall through the mid 40s overnight, so that's pretty chilly. And then by noon, only be up to a little bit over 50. And we'll top out tomorrow. Inland areas near 60. Most of us will be stuck in the mid 50s, maybe a few mid to upper 50s. So that's way below normal. We do have improvement for Easter, though. I'll talk about that coming up.
All right, a double shooting in downtown Norfolk remains unsolved tonight. Police say 2 men were shot on Mariner Street around 6 o'clock. This is in a neighborhood near St. Paul's Boulevard and City Hall Avenue. Our photographer saw a large number of police officers at the scene. 1 man remains in critical but stable condition. The other is expected to be okay. No word yet on the circumstances surrounding this shooting. Restaurant owner filing a federal lawsuit over happy hour. The Northern Virginia chef is suing, claiming a current state law is violating his First Amendment rights to advertise happy hour specials. Under that law, a violation can cost hundreds of dollars and even potentially the loss of a liquor license. Janu Herr spoke with one of the attorneys representing that chef at a local restaurant about how this law has impacted them.
Up and down Cawley Avenue, there are lots of bars and restaurants, some of them advertising their happy hour just like this one here. But according to a state law, you have to be very careful what you put on those ads.
We are 100% like have a family atmosphere.
Everyone is welcome at Plaza del Sol. It's owned by family and all are treated like it. But not all parts of being in the restaurant biz.
It's like you're walking on thin ice.
Is a piece of cake.
It seems like you have to tiptoe through and you're not really sure what the laws are or if you can do something.
Like many other places that serve food and alcohol, Plaza del Sol has a happy hour. And like all of those other places in Virginia, their advertisement is restricted by state law. The law is now grounds for a lawsuit Chef Jeff Tracy in Northern Virginia has filed. The complaint lists numerous defendants, including the Virginia Alcoholic Beverage Control Authority, and says these outdated and paternalistic notions cannot justify the state's unconstitutional burdens on speech.
Our client was brave enough to step forward and fight the Virginia laws.
Joshua Thompson is a senior attorney at the Pacific Legal Foundation, representing Chef Jeff. According to him, if a business advertises anything beyond the actual phrase happy hour, it's a violation. This includes advertising prices.
So you're not allowed to say, for example, Wine Wednesdays or Thirsty Thursdays or Sunday Fun Day.
Happy hour, I mean, it's a big part of, I guess, every business.
It's a big part
being able to get people to come in.
Of what attracts customers. Ernesto and his family don't advertise.
We have like little drink menus that we put on the tables, but that's basically it. We don't advertise like on Facebook or anything.
That law does take into account online ads as well, so Ernesto hopes the law changes one day to allow a little bit more freedom. But until then, he hopes his family's hospitality can draw people in.
That's basically how we're doing.
In Norfolk, Chanu Hurt, 13 News Now.
Controversial lawyer Joe Morrissey has lost his law license again over ethics complaints. Morrissey was facing 3 ethics complaints by the Virginia State Bar. Today, a 3-judge panel revoked the Richmond attorney's law license effective June 15th. The judge's decision caps a week-long disciplinary hearing. Morrissey's attorney says they are appealing. Morrissey made headlines after he was convicted in 2014 for contributing to the delinquency of a minor. The charge stems from a sexual relationship he had with a 17-year-old receptionist in his office. She is now his wife, and they have 3 children. A tragic accident during a spring break trip has a lot of people worried about their own upcoming vacations. Last week, we told you about the Iowa family of 4 found dead in their rented condo during their spring break trip in Mexico. Authorities say they died from toxic fumes caused by the water heater. Reporter Amy Simpson found out the tragedy has some people packing extra precautions.
Tragedy in Tulum, a family of 4 on vacation, but never waking up.
We don't ever want to think about what's going to go wrong, but you want to, again, just be prepared.
Tammy Arnett with AAA says travelers can do their homework before leaving for spring break.
Ask the property directly, hey, tell me about your security measures at your property. Tell me about the things that you have that can help keep me and my family safe, such as a smoke detector, fire extinguishers, carbon monoxide detectors. Where are the fire exits?
Nancy Thompson and her husband were out shopping in Carytown, but first they made a stop at the hardware store after hearing about one family's tragedy in Mexico.
We were at Lowe's and that was on my list to buy a monoxide detector, and I told my husband I bought it specifically because of the sad story of the family that was traveling.
Thompson says her grandfather died from toxic fumes at a motel back in the 60s. Even so, it's not until this week that she decided to take safety matters into her own hands.
It's a plug-in and it costs less than $30, so I plan to take that wherever we go when we travel.
For people leaving the country, AAA guides travelers to the State Department website, which offers insights into areas with increased travel risks. But regardless of where you're headed, have a plan in place.
Let your family know and have an emergency contact as well. Have that open communication so that they know where you're going, and when you're expected back home.
If you're bringing a carbon monoxide detector like the woman you just saw, check with your airline to see if it's okay to bring that device on board. Today, hundreds of people honored 2 Oceana-based aviators killed in a training accident. Lieutenant Commander James Johnson and Lieutenant Caleb King died when their FA-18F Super Hornet went down near Key West, Florida. Today, their squadron mates gathered at the chapel on base to share memories. Johnson was remembered for his magnetic personality. King, described as a jokester who could always brighten up a room. Both remembered for being loving husbands and fathers.
You never get over losing men or women. So that part, while there will be people that will come in to replace at some juncture, you will never be able to replace Lieutenant Commander Johnson or Lieutenant King.
The Navy is still investigating what went wrong, but earlier this week we learned the jet was flying on one engine as the crew tried to land. It could be months before we learn more. The fight